think that I think shame is something that stopped me from talking about it for so long because, you know, I think it's. Do you know what? I think I have such high standards of myself that I felt the shame for a very long time in the judgment, and even to the point where I only mentioned to my own doctor a year ago the fact that I was a recovering addict when I recovered from that about 6 years ago. And I've only just spoken to a medical professional, but the only reason it's been that long is because I felt the shame of having to admit it. I almost felt, saying to the doctor, I've been through this and because in effect, I was the one putting it up my nose, Zach. It was no one else. So it was that shame of having to admit that. And I think what makes it even worse was the fact that in my story, I talk about the fact I was a police officer, and even that in itself makes me have so much shame because of I was never cut out to be a police officer, not because I break the law, mainly because I don't want to be a robot, and I have too much compassion for people. I remember I used to obviously come into contact with drugs a lot in the police. And I didn't like arresting people because I used to look at people as if they were sick. And then it's just so ironic myself that because of probably the trauma I experienced in the police, I found myself in very much the same situation. Zach, I'm so grateful for you coming onto this show because I think that your rawness and your real honesty, and actually I want to talk about your podcast because it did capture my eye, and without it, we wouldn't even be talking now. What made you start it? Because your conversations on there, and you must obviously tell people what it is, and if you do want to find out, just go show notes. What made you start it? And, how did you even think to want to talk in such level of honesty? Because it's not just an audio experience. Yours is a full-on video experience as well.